Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So, guys, Teddy Atlas has come out firing. He said that Canelo Alvarez does not deserve a payday. Also, no, sorry, payday. He doesn't deserve another shot at Dimitri Bivol. The fight was so one-sided and so conclusively in Bivol's favor that Canelo Alvarez does not deserve an opportunity to rematch Dimitri Bivol. Now, obviously, Canelo fans are going to go up in rage with hearing that. I think Teddy Atlas is looking at it, the fact that I think he thinks that Bivol might get robbed in a rematch, that if the fight is close and Canelo is able to make it close, they'll probably give the decision to Canelo Alvarez. I think we need to put that theory to one side now because Canelo's been beaten and the judges went against him. So if Canelo Alvarez is to get beat, it looks like, the judges will go against him again. So I think, yes, Canelo has got, in boxing history, the politically connected fighter, and not just in boxing, but in all sports, the politically more connected team, the politically connected fighter, the politically connected participant seems to get the rub of the green more than the guy that's not as commercially or I should say the more politically connected participant or whoever it is that's more, brings more to the ring or to the court or wherever, to the pitch. It seems like, sometimes politics can come into the sport. One thing I will say is though that Canelo, I mean, he's been banned for 6 months for, failing a drugs test. He's also, and let's be honest, there's been some athletes of the past that have failed and not even been banned. Canelo's been banned. Canelo's also now been beat against Bivol. I think people hold Canelo to a very high standards and they don't look at some of the other fighters of the past. Floyd Mayweather got a gift decision against Castillo, which probably was one of the worst decisions, and nobody talks about that. But Floyd rematched him and beat him, and that made it all right. No. He got beat in that first fight, and he didn't, and he got the decision, and that's embarrassing. But a lot of people that have an agenda against Canelo will never talk about that. Will never talk about how the fact that Floyd got beat against against Jose Luis Castillo, and nobody ever wants to talk about that. Why? Because it doesn't suit their agenda. He got beat fair and square, and the judges gave it in favor of Floyd. So what do we look? How do we look at that? How do we look at that? I mean, how do we look at that fight? I mean, why didn't Luis Castillo get that decision? Was that decision worse than any of Canelo's fights? I would say it was worse. It was worse. I mean, I don't think Canelo's got, bar the Golovkin one, maybe even it was as bad as the Golovkin one. But this is the point I'm trying to make, is that people forget all these things, that there's many fighters of the past that were like, that may be in their favorite fighters that got, gift decisions or got decisions because they were the politically connected fighter. But then they never said anything. Right? How many Floyd fans talk about the Jose Luis Castillo and the fact that he lost that fight and he got a gift decision in that first fight? Not many talk about it. Not many talk about it. Why? Because, like I said, it's gender driven. Canelo Alvarez, for me, going back, I know I've gone off track, deserves a Bivol fight. Why? Because if it's in the contract and the rematch clause was in the contract, then contractually, Bivol owes Canelo a rematch. I don't know if it's not contractually in the contract, then Bivol doesn't owe Canelo anything, because contractually it's not there. And for some reason, I don't think it contractually is, with the way Bivol's talking, with the way some people, Eddie Earn's talking. I don't think it was in the contract. I don't think it was contractually there. A rematch was there. Hence why I think Bivol is talking the way he's talking, because Bivol's saying, I don't really want the Canelo fight. I'm not really interested. Like, if he has to fight him, he has to fight him. But it doesn't look like he has to fight him. So for me, Bivol looks like he doesn't need to fight Canelo Alvarez, which in a lot of people's opinion, they probably don't want to see that fight again, because they probably think it was pretty one-sided. It was not a great fight. In some people's eyes, they thought it was one-sided. They thought Canelo was beaten, and Teddy Atlas thinks that. Canelo was beaten. And Teddy Atlas also said that he prefers Bivol to go and fight Beterbiev. And I think it was Ken Rideout actually that said that, become one of the greatest light heavyweights by beating Beterbiev and then, having all the money in the world and maybe fighting Canelo again, beating Canelo, becoming one of the great light heavyweights of all time. Same for Beterbiev though. If Beterbiev beats, Bivol, that makes him one of the top light heavyweights. But would Beterbiev would 100% entertain a fight with Canelo as well. So Canelo for me should sit back, in my opinion, probably take another fight. The only problem with Canelo will have, the winner of Plant and Benavidez will be breathing down his neck. So he'll have to make a decision on what he wants to do. The only problem is, the problem is with Bivol, it looks like Beterbiev has got a few. He's got Yard, and then he might have Callum Smith to deal with. So it looks like Beterbiev might not be able to fight Bivol anytime soon, and that's the issue that we've got. If that fight could be made right away, then the winner of that fight could potentially fight Canelo after. But the problem is, it's not. In boxing, there's a lot of obstacles, and the obstacle here is that Beterbiev seems to have a lot of fights in the way before he can have a fight with Bivol. So that's the issue here. I would love to see those two fight it out, and then Canelo probably fight the winner. But a lot of people think that, why does Canelo get the winner? I mean, like Teddy Atlas said, there's a system in place. I'd rather see other guys get a shot at Bivol than Canelo, because Canelo hasn't really earned it. I mean, Canelo got beat convincingly, and he didn't look great against a 40-year-old Golovkin. So he hasn't really earned it. I would say, like I said, I think Canelo, when it's a fighter of the stature of Canelo Alvarez, I think he deserves a second shot, just because really that fight that Canelo had with Bivol, even though Bivol was a world champion, it kind of put Bivol on the map. It paid Bivol his career highest payday, and Bivol will get another career highest payday, and this time the splits won't be as far. So Bivol will, especially if there was no rematch clause in the contract, Bivol can potentially he can potentially demand what he wants. Not being unrealistic, otherwise the fight won't happen. But I mean, within being realistic, he could demand a huge purse. I mean, and Bivol could get life-changing money fighting Canelo. So I think that's why I've said I think Bivol would be crazy not to take the Canelo fight, because I personally think that he's a odds-on favorite to beat Canelo again. And for me personally, I think it's a big payday. So why wouldn't you? You just beaten a guy soundly. It's going to be a huge payday. It's going to be a lot more money than you got last time, because there's going to be a lot more intrigue, a lot more people tuning in because you beat Canelo the first time, and you're going to get a much bigger payday because you beat him. So you're going to you're negotiating wise, you're going to hold a lot more power on the table. So it makes a lot of sense for Bivol to really entertain that Canelo rematch. I don't know why Bivol wouldn't want to fight Canelo again. And because it doesn't look like it. Look, I can understand when Bivol saying that, what, I want to fight Beterbiev, that I want his legacy over money, because now he's made that 5 mil, and he's made some good money against Zerdo. So he's probably thinking that I want to fight Beterbiev, then we can go into the Canelo fight. The problem is Beterbiev is locked up, and it doesn't look like Beterbiev is going to be fighting Bivol anytime soon, because he's got to fight Yard and he's got to fight Callum Smith, according to the WBC president. So it doesn't look like that. He's going to be fighting. Beterbiev anytime soon. So Bivol's got to move on with his career, and I think the only logical fight really out there, the financially most appealing fight out there for him, is Canelo Alvarez. Maybe Bivol's also got in his mind, because he so badly wants to be undisputed, he might have in his mind that I might get robbed against Canelo. So I don't want to fight Canelo, because if I fight Canelo, there's a chance I might get robbed. So, Bivol might be thinking like that as well. We don't know what's going through his head. He may be thinking that if I fight Canelo and they end up robbing me, then I might lose the opportunity of being undisputed against him, Arthur Beterbiev. So Bivol might be, unless the money is so much that it's just hard for him to turn down. Maybe Bivol's going to play hard, especially if there's no contract, no rematch clause in there. Maybe you guys can tell me if there is a rematch clause. If there's no rematch clause, then Bivol's in a great position, because Bivol can command what he wants, because he beat Canelo. And Canelo's at the negotiation table. It's going to be harder for Canelo, but especially Bivol isn't really showing. I personally think it might be a negotiation tactic by Bivol to get more money, because if he shows that he's not really interested in a Canelo fight, they might throw more money at him. In result, him taking the fight, because they know that you can convince him we're paying him more. So it might be a negotiation tactic. Maybe Bivol's people at the back are telling him to say these things in order so we can get a bigger payday and get a bigger purse. That might be the reason, but. Yeah, leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Love to know your opinions. Smash the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.